John had just finished a grueling day at work, juggling endless calls and tight deadlines, when he spotted her. Standing on the edge of the rain-slicked road was a young woman, her white dress torn and drenched, looking completely out of place and utterly helpless. Lightning streaked across the sky, and he instinctively slowed his car. Emma, his 8-year-old daughter, perched in the backseat, leaned forward and squinted through the rain. "Daddy, she looks scared," she said softly. John didn't hesitate. He pulled over and lowered his window. "Hey, are you okay? Do you need a ride?" The woman looked up, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and relief. She hesitated, glancing down at her soaked, tattered dress, before nodding slightly. "Yes, please," she whispered. Her voice trembled. She introduced herself as Lily, but didn't offer much else. As John carefully drove through the storm, he noticed she kept fidgeting with the hem of her dress and clutching a small, expensive-looking purse close to her chest. Emma, ever curious and full of empathy, tried to engage her. "Hi, I'm Emma. Are you okay? Did you fall or something?" Lily forced a faint smile and shook her head. I just needed to get away for a while." John kept glancing at her through the rearview mirror. There was something in her eyes, a mix of fear, shame, and urgency, that suggested her story was far more complicated than a simple roadside mishap. The rain was relentless, and the streets glistened under the streetlights. It felt surreal, like something out of a movie. Finally, John spotted a small cafe with warm lights glowing through the windows. "Let's get you out of this rain," he said, pulling into the parking lot. Lily exhaled softly as they stepped inside, the warmth of the cafe enveloping them. John ordered hot chocolate and a sandwich for Emma and a tea for Lily. She sipped slowly, glancing at the floor, avoiding eye contact. The television above the cafe counter caught John's attention. A breaking news segment revealed that a runaway bride had caused a stir in high society, a billionaire's daughter who had vanished hours before her wedding. Lily's face went pale. She dropped her gaze and muttered something inaudible, her hands shaking slightly. John's curiosity piqued, but he didn't press. For now, she needed comfort, not interrogation. As they sat, Emma chatted happily, trying to make Lily feel at ease. Lily finally opened up a little, telling Emma about her lonely childhood despite having everything material wealth could offer. She spoke softly, revealing that she had been suffocated by expectations, trapped in a life she hadn't chosen. John listened carefully, sensing the gravity behind her words. When it started to drizzle again, John offered to drive her somewhere safe. Lily hesitated, glancing at the street outside as if imagining someone watching. I don't want to go back," she admitted quietly. Her words were weighted with fear, and John felt a protective instinct rise in him. He promised he would help, no matter what it took. As they left the cafe, John noticed the sleek shadow of a car following them at a distance. Lily stiffened, and her eyes darted nervously. "They're looking for me," she said under her breath. John realized that helping her meant more than just giving a ride, it meant keeping her safe from forces far beyond their control. Yet, as he glanced at Emma laughing in the backseat, he knew he couldn't turn away. Some encounters, he thought, were meant to change lives, and tonight, theirs had already begun. Days passed since John had given Lily a ride, and the initial tension of that rainy evening lingered in the back of his mind. Lily had moved into a small, cozy guest room in his modest home. Emma had quickly grown attached, treating her like a new friend she had always wanted. Lily helped with homework, played games, and even cooked small meals with surprising ease. For John, the quiet moments they shared, watching Emma laugh or listening to Lily's soft voice, were strangely comforting, yet he couldn't ignore the storm looming over them. Lily had finally begun to trust John enough to reveal some truths. She confessed that she had been engaged to a man she didn't love, bound by family expectations and a life of privilege she had never desired. "I couldn't breathe anymore," she admitted one evening, her voice barely above a whisper. "I had to leave. I couldn't be part of it, not like that, not with him." Her hands trembled slightly as she described the opulent wedding hall, the limousine, the crowd of photographers, and the suffocating expectations of her billionaire family. John listened quietly, feeling a mix of admiration and concern. He had never been part of that world, yet he understood the universal longing to be free, to choose your own path. Emma, sitting nearby, didn't fully grasp the gravity but chimed in enthusiastically. I think you're brave, Lily. Really brave. Lily smiled genuinely for the first time since their meeting, a smile that seemed to lift some weight off her shoulders. But the peace was fragile. John had noticed a sleek black car trailing them occasionally during errands. Lily's unease was palpable. They've probably hired private detectives, she murmured, refusing to give any more details. John realized that hiding her in a small town wouldn't be enough if someone from her world was determined to find her. Still, he resolved to protect her, no matter the risk. One rainy afternoon, John decided to take precautions. He changed routines, drove different routes, and even kept the windows of the house curtained. Lily adapted quickly, learning to blend into the crowd, avoiding attention while still savoring the small joys she had never allowed herself. Emma became their little partner in disguise, blissfully unaware that she was helping hide a runaway bride. Despite the danger, their bond deepened. John began to appreciate Lily's intelligence, humor, and resilience. She, in turn, was fascinated by his quiet strength, the way he managed life as a single dad with unwavering patience and kindness. Their conversations became a safe space where fears could be shared without judgment. One night, while helping Emma with homework, Lily laughed genuinely at one of Emma's jokes. John caught the moment and realized how profoundly she had changed their household, bringing light and warmth to a life that had grown predictable and heavy. However, the world outside wasn't slowing down. Paparazzi had identified her, social media exploded with speculation, and her family's influence meant that finding her would be only a matter of time. One evening, John and Lily went for a short drive to clear their minds. They noticed the black car again, closer this time, its driver unnervingly persistent. Panic rose in Lily's chest, but John kept his composure. He maneuvered the car through narrow streets, double-backing when necessary, staying calm to prevent alarming Emma, who was quietly watching from the backseat. After finally losing their pursuer, they parked on a quiet hill overlooking the city. Lily's hands shook as she whispered, I can't run forever, but I don't want to go back. I don't know what to do. John put a reassuring hand on hers. You don't have to decide everything tonight. You're safe with us, and we'll figure this out, together. For the first time in weeks, Lily allowed herself to relax, leaning against John's shoulder as the city lights twinkled below. She felt a strange sense of hope, realizing that freedom might not be just about running away. It could also be about finding people who truly cared, willing to stand by her in a world that had never understood her. The sense of calm that John and Lily had managed to hold on to began to crack. Lily knew she couldn't hide forever. Sooner or later, her family and the media would find her. But the thought of confronting them filled her with dread. I don't want to go back to that life, she admitted one evening, pacing the living room while Emma played quietly nearby. But I can't just stay hidden. Eventually, they'll come for me. John placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. You won't face it alone. Whatever happens, I'll be with you. We'll make sure it's on your terms. The reassurance made Lily's chest tighten, not with fear, but with a strange warmth she hadn't felt in years. They devised a plan to meet her family in a neutral, public location, somewhere she could assert herself without being trapped. When the day came, tension hung thick in the air. Her father and fiancé arrived with a small entourage, their expressions a mix of anger, confusion, and incredulity. The photographer flashes and security presence were overwhelming, but Lily stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear thrumming through her. I am not a possession, she said firmly, looking directly at her father. I am not just a bride to be married off. I have my own life, my own choices. I cannot live for someone else's expectations, for appearances, or for wealth I never asked for. Her words rang out sharply, clear even over the murmurs of the crowd. Her father's face turned red, and her fiancé's jaw tightened, but Lily didn't waver. John stood a few steps behind her, a silent pillar of support, while Emma clutched his hand, watching Lily like a real-life heroine. Security attempted to step forward, but she held up a hand. I am choosing freedom. I am choosing me. After tense moments, the entourage realized that force wouldn't succeed without escalating the situation publicly, and in that instant, Lily's courage began to reshape the battle. Media attention captured every word, turning her defiance into a story of bravery. The world watched as a young woman stood up for her own life, refusing to be chained by expectation or wealth. When the confrontation ended, Lily and John slipped away, knowing that returning to the same old life was impossible. The exhilaration of victory mingled with relief. On the drive home, the city lights reflected off the wet streets, and Lily finally let herself exhale. Emma, sensing the triumph, cheered from the backseat. "You did it, Lily. You're free." In the days that followed, Lily took steps to reclaim her independence fully. She moved into her own small apartment, embraced a simple life, and even started volunteering at a local charity, finding purpose in ways she had never imagined. John and Emma remained her close friends and allies, visiting often, and slowly, a different kind of love began to blossom between her and John. Not rushed, not dramatic, but steady, grounded, and real. Emma adored having Lily around, calling her the coolest grown-up ever, and insisting she stay for dinner every evening. John noticed how natural their little trio had become, how laughter and warmth now filled spaces that had once been heavy with routine and loneliness. Even the media, initially intrusive, eventually shifted focus, leaving Lily the breathing space she had fought so hard for. On a bright, sunny afternoon, John, Emma, and Lily drove together, windows down, the wind catching their hair, laughter spilling freely. Lily wore casual clothes instead of the formal gowns she had once been forced to wear, a symbol of her reclaimed freedom. Emma pointed out butterflies fluttering near the roadside, and Lily laughed, letting herself enjoy the simple beauty of life. As they drove, John glanced at Lily, a gentle smile playing on his lips. She caught his eye and returned the smile, a silent acknowledgement of everything they had endured together, the fear, the danger, and the triumph. It wasn't just freedom that had been won that day, it was trust, friendship, and perhaps the beginning of love in its truest form. In that moment, the rain-soaked nights and tense days seemed far behind them. Lily had escaped the gilded cage of wealth and expectation, and in doing so, had discovered a family she hadn't known she needed. Emma laughed, John smiled, and Lily felt an unburdened joy she had never thought possible. They were no longer running, they were living, and for the first time, she truly belonged.